How's it going? I'm Ryan, and today I'm going to go over the one trade that I took on NQ yesterday. On Friday, I'm recording this the day after on Saturday. Didn't get to this recording yesterday. I had kind of a long work shift that went through the night, so thought I'd make the recap today and post it. But let's get into it without further ado. So we'll take a look at the 4-hour time frame and just look at where we were coming into the day. So we had made a run up, made new all-time highs, kind of moved sideways a bit, had a small drop and then held. And then today we saw a big move up. So levels that we had were Thursday's low and Thursday's high, designated by the green and red levels there. We had a level here at 21,496 or so. We had a pre-market high. And yeah, that's all we had. We don't have much else. And we set new all-time highs on this trading day. So gives a little bit to look at coming into the next week. But yeah, we had this big spike on a news drop, created that pre-market high. We charted. You see that we open the day and immediately come up and test that pre-market high. From there, we get a breakthrough. But it was kind of on lower volume, and it wasn't such a strong breakthrough. It only closed a little bit above it, and the candle itself wasn't very impressive. So on this following candle, when we started to pull back, I did not look for that break and retest that normally I would like to see somewhere around there. But from there, we continued to kind of move up, move up, move up. There was no entries for me on the long. I wanted to go long, but I was waiting for a pullback. But really wasn't seeing any good entries here. If I pull up the 2-minute as well, you can see that the move was pretty explosive to the upside and didn't give many opportunities to enter a long position. I suppose here when we pulled back to that 13 EMA maybe. But the reason why I didn't take this long is because once we get up into here above Thursday's high of day and create that new all-time high, we start to see some resistance and we start to see some weak price action. So we have a red candle here, our first red candle of the morning. Although that lower wick is pretty long and it does close closer to the top of the candle, we see our first sign of weakness here. Then we get a hanging man or a shooting star. We get a shooting star, and that is pretty bearish and a classic reversal symbol as well. And then here we get, also to be noted, look at the volume spike on that. Pretty high volume as opposed to the previous candle. We see kind of a decline in volume, and then we see a spike when we get that reversal signal. So these two candles were telling me that we had weakness. So on this candle, when we did get that little pullback, I was not looking to long in this position. I was actually maybe starting to switch and think that a reversal or at least some sort of a pullback would be due, especially after such a aggressive move up without a pullback. So at this point, kind of started to switch my bias from long to short. I'll pull up the 15-minute as well. And you can see that on the 15-minute, right? That momentum slowly kind of starts to peter out. You see that we have big bullish candles, and then we start to get smaller spread with upper wicks on them as we approach this area as well. So 15-minute, you can see that momentum kind of slowing down, the volume slowing down. 5-minute, you see some first signs of weakness here. And then on the 2-minute, we're just kind of watching. Not a lot to go off of. There are some kind of interesting volume spikes on some of these candles, but nothing too significant to note on the 2-minute. I was thinking about a short position here because if you've seen any of my videos, you probably have heard me talk about a pivot high or a pivot low candlestick pattern. And this is a perfect pivot high candlestick pattern where the middle candle, it's a 3-candle series, and the middle candle has a higher high, higher low than the candles to the opposite sides of it, which have lower low, lower high. And with the weakness that we also see in these candles was making me consider go short. The only reason I didn't is because we kind of held that EMA pretty well and started to bounce off of it within this candle. So when the following candle opened and we had a pretty immediate bullish move, I just sat back and did not take a short here. But the following candle showed some weakness as well, right? We get a higher high, but we also get a wick that's pretty much about the same size as the body of the candle. So kind of more implied weakness here, right? We get, and you can see this on the 2 minutes, is where the 2 minute starts to show it as well. We get a spike on volume on that break of the high a day, but then we get even higher volume on the rejection immediately after. So just more confirmation that we're weak in this area. Then we get up to new all-time highs and create a new high, but then we start to move sideways and we start to see that volume drop, right? Which is not great for continuation. And actually, a previous day this week, we saw a similar thing happen where we set a new high on the day, then price moved sideways, volume dropped, and it had a quick reversal back down. So if I remember, I'll go back and look at that. But this was kind of reminding me of just a few days ago when we had a similar situation. Some signs of weakness, new high, and then, inability to make any new highs, making some, spikes lower, and not seeing the volume and the follow through that you'd want to see. So I entered short right, where was it? I think it was here on this candle. And the reason being is that we had some sideways action, we'd had low volume, and then we got a spike of volume and we broke the EMA and closed below it. And so this is probably a little bit early. I was kind of anticipating a pullback, but I felt that we were weak up here, and so I felt comfortable entering a short. My risk was just above high a day. It was about 25 points of risk. My target was like this little swing low here, which was about 30 points. And then I had a runner for 40 points, which is somewhere down here, around 580. So when I entered, we kind of chopped around a bit. Then we get this breakdown, which I really liked. This gave me a lot of confidence. Look at the 5 minute, you see the volume rising as we get that break, and we break through kind of that little like support level that we formed on the 5 minute. We get a break on high volume, nice bearish candle. We also get the same thing on the 2 minute, right? A nice bearish candle on, far higher volume than we've had in a while. So that gave me confidence that we were going to have a pullback, and that it was weak in this area. But my take profit was about half a point off of this, and it wicked just barely above it, and then immediately reversed back up to my entry point, to the point where in here, when price was moving up, I was concerned about getting stopped out. I thought that we had, the aggressiveness of the bounce back that we, might see us make a new high. Luckily, we did not, but this did make me a little nervous. And the amount of time that I was in this trade was about 30 minutes or so. One thing to note, though, on this volume, the bounce that we do get, although I was feeling some sort of way from having my take profit missed very narrowly here, you see on the bounce we get lower volume, right? If we were expecting it to go higher, we'd want to see volume pick up on that, the buyers pick up. So that gave me some confidence. This candle had a bit of an anomaly, but it closed red, higher volume. Then the following candle we spiked down, and that had nice high volume as well. I will admit this bounce did shake me a little bit. I actually raised my take profit. I had 6 contracts. I took 5 off, around 20 points, which, had I kept my original 30-point target, this would have hit it the very next candle. So it was just a little impatience. I kind of got a little shooketh when we immediately bounced and missed my target by just a few ticks, and then bounced up above my entry point. So I did move my take profit, my 5 contract take profit up. I left my 1 contract at 40 points, which this candle here hit it. So you can see here, the Apex account, I took my first trade that Friday, and we had a profit of $247 on 6 contracts. So not terrible. After this, we kind of bounced and then made our way to higher highs. So glad that was enough to hit my take profits and get me my win on the day. Ideally, would like to look for a long position when we're showing so much strength in the morning. But like I said, just seeing the price action and volume start to indicate some weakness in this area, I felt that once we were up here, if I missed any of this action, if I was going to find an entry, the entry would probably be short due to the switch from very bullish price and volume to some pretty weak looking kind of bearish topping out price and volume. So that's what we had. Other than that, that was my only trade on the day. It took a while, like 30 minutes to play out or so. So I was definitely had to be patient for that one to play. But it worked out, and we're happy to have our first trade on the 50K account be a win. That's all I got for you. hopefully start next week out strong and continue to build this account. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I trade live Monday through Friday. There will probably be some interruptions in that as I'm going to be traveling and moving the next month. So we'll see. We'll try to keep things as consistent as possible, but there might be some breaks and some interruptions, just for your heads up. But hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching. Peace.